Hello, everyone. This week we were tasked with accessing America History and Life with full-text database. I located a fascinating article on Jonathan Edwards and Cotton Mather. Here we see Edwards on the left and Mather on the right. The article was titled, Cotton Mather and Jonathan Edwards on the Number of the Beast, 18th Century Speculation about the Antichrist, by Stephen J. Stein, Professor Emeritus of Religious Studies, Indiana University. Stein discusses the Antichrist based on the work by clergyman Francis Potter, an interpretation of the number 666, and Jonathan Edwards and Cotton Mather's views on religion. This is a triptych painted by Hieronymus Bosch, titled The Adoration of the Magi, created between 1485 and 1500. In the center right, we see Mary and baby Jesus. Many believe that Bosch incorporated the Antichrist into this work as this figure here, but this has been hotly debated. Melchior, the Magi, is here, Casper, here, and Balthasar is there. Potter wrote, quote, Next unto the knowledge of Christ and him crucified, there is no knowledge more necessary for the church of God than the knowledge of Antichrist and him revealed, end quote. This question was common, especially during the English Civil War. Stein points out to Protestants in colonial America, the identification of the beast was a religious and cultural issue. There was a time-honored suggestion among them stating that the Pope and papacy were the Antichrist, as well as the French and Spanish powers. Joseph Mead called Potter's work, quote, the happiest that ever came into the world. It is such as cannot be read without much admiration, end quote. Stein then breaks the article into a discussion of Mather's thoughts, followed by Edwards. Cotton Mather agreed with Francis Potter that since 12 is the square root of 144, Jerusalem is represented by the number 144, and the beast 666. The papacy must be the Antichrist. By today's standards, this is farcical, but this was another time. Potter also ties Rome into his thesis using the number 25. Rome had 25 gates, 25 churches, 25 cardinals, 25 parishes, and 25 curates. Nicholas Noyes, a minister in Salem, calculated that the, quote, man of sin was born during the papacy of Gregory VII and would die 666 years later, or 1739. Stein notes that after the Great Awakening of the 1740s, the attitude of anti-Catholicism and papacy waned for a very short time. He then focuses on Jonathan Edwards' views. Stein finds it surprising that Edwards does not wholeheartedly disagree with Mather, but felt that, quote, the number of the beast would remain until God himself saw fit to unlock it, end quote. And he further notes that Edwards felt that, quote, man was limited in what he may know of God's mysteries, end quote. For Mather and Edwards, the existence of the beast was never questioned. Mathematical calculations to identify the Antichrist appealed to the population in the 17th and 18th century, and this included many other intellectuals other than Edwards and Mather. Stephen Stein's conclusion is excellent. He writes, quote, in meeting houses and revival tents alike, ministers and evangelists harangue their audience with a world crowded with sin, filled with lazy and the philanderer, the infidel, and the intemperate, the fascist and the radical, end quote. And he goes on to say, quote, in generation after generation, movements were launched against such evils as declension, corruption, infidelity, slavery, liquor, immigration, Nazism, and communism. Romanism has also been recurrently one of the objects of such movements, end quote. I recently attended a Catholic Mass where the priests harangued the audience as sinners, called the vaccinated cowards, the government fascists, the Protestants, Calvinists, and Lutherans as non-believers, and Catholicism as the only true religion. 330 years after Cotton Mather's book on witchcraft, I understood what it must have been like to be accused of sorcery, and now I know why there were so many empty seats that day. Stein's concluding sentence is worth quoting. He says, the myth of the beast is handed on by Mather, Edwards, and others has significantly shaped America's religious and cultural heritage. The article I found by Stein at the America History and Life database was one of the most interesting and well-written articles that I have ever had a chance to read. Thank you very much.